Oh, just typical for my day.
What do you say?
Live on Zoom.
Oh, we're ready to go? All right, and we're back. Thank you for your patience if you're still there. If you're not, never mind. Okay, Judy?
Yes?
Okay.
I'm here.
Are you up with,
Yes. We just finished Department 101-090. So now we're moving on to Department 101-100,
okay?
which is the library. And that has 6.25 full-time equivalents. Excuse me. And it looks like the only thing that might have went up a little bit was utilities. Otherwise, it was kind of flat.
What?
Why do we have additional 100,000 of personnel costs?
Is that might be, my finger messed up. Let me double check.
Yeah, we took the part-time off and.
Do you know, Ron?
They,
Well, historically, I bet you what she did, it was 374, 325, 336, 363, 273, 208, 155, and I think they just bumped it back up for historical.
Where are you, Mayor, where are you getting those figures?
Are you talking about library?
Oh,
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, I just want to make sure we're talking about the same thing.
yeah, I see, now I see where you're.
This is Diane Staub.
Yes, Diane?
I believe that the change is that when it was at 140 for 2021, that was with only 4 personnel on board.
Is it correct that I'm supposed to have a library director and then a library supervisor and then 2 library assistants and then a library technical assistant and a youth services librarian?
some of those.
Is that correct?
Judy, some of those, the part-timer and the director, I believe at this time wasn't gonna be on the budget.
Oh, okay. Oh, all right. I did not, okay. So that's where my mistake is. So I need to delete the library director. And what was the other position?
The part-time position.
The library assistant.
Assistant, okay. All right. I will do that. So that will go down $111,000.
So what's the new total?
You want the new total?
Yes, please.
Sure, hold on, just give me 1 second. It would be 265,760.
260? 260?
Say it again, please.
$265,760.
Is that for the department total, Judy?
Yes,
Okay.
And so right now, we're just gonna do the status quo on the library. We're, with Diane being the director or the interim or whatever we're calling.
Sure, I'll defer that to Ron. She works directly with Ron.
So Mayor Crawford, members of the council, Diane now, Denise Staub has been, I would say the manager there at the library now for, I'm going to say, close to 2 years now. And we are looking at having her have more responsibilities within the library. And that's something that we just need to bring to the council and have a plan in place for that.
So she was the manager even when we had a director.
Mayor Crawford, Councilor Lutterman, she was a supervisor. We had the library director, and then Denise was the supervisor over the employees,
Okay,
the staffs,
okay,
the circulation desk, and then the children's library also.
right.
And then now she's stepped up just being supervising the library, so the staff and the operations.
Did she get an increase in pay for the additional duties, or is it staying the same?
Mayor Crawford, Councilor Salas, I'm trying to think back now, when she became a supervisor, she did. Whenever the last director was there, I'm not sure if she received additional compensation for that. Whenever the last library director had, was no longer working for the village.
Mayor Pro Tem, what we'll do some research into that, and, now that we're reopened, I think we need to make those adjustments.
I
So-
agree.
So we'll,
I mean,
Okay.
yeah, I was always under the impression we were gonna hire a librarian director. I mean, that's what I thought, and Diane was just carrying it, but if we're moving this part, we really need to look into that.
Because for the last year, we hadn't really been open, but,
Right.
this whole director thing over there, I think needs to be evaluated. We haven't had much luck.
And I'm fine with that on whatever direction there, but just from past experience, as other duties is assigned many times, and Susan's witnessed me and Buzz being just right there as laborer and a worker, and we're doing budgets for the Parks and Rec Department.
Yeah, I just
Back in
think
the
that
day.
I'm with Rafa, I just think that, it's, I think it's wonderful that she's stepped in, but I think going along with that she needs to be compensated. We don't want to just say, well,
Well, we're gonna look at all that, but for the last year, we ain't had nothing. We've been floating everybody along.
Right.
So, I mean, we're looking at it, we're still not even open there yet. So, I mean, we will look at it. If anything, we are fair with all of that, and that's what he said, they'll go through that and look at it, but when we're talking about hiring a director over there, I think that's a whole nother animal.
Right.
yeah, Mayor and Council, if you remember, there were some positions that, if they're not running multiple departments, and we change it to a manager position, like the HR
Right.
position. So we'll reevaluate that at a manager level, and then compensate her fairly for her responsibilities.
She's the only one that's been able to prove that she can do it.
Yes,
I mean.
she stepped in a couple of times to help
Yeah,
us out.
that's what I'm saying, but you need to ask her if she wants it. She's listening. She may not even want it.
I thought Ron had already had that discussion with her.
We've had some discussion, and since we were closed, and then we didn't have any, they were just doing more inventory and doing things within the library itself without being open to the public, and then we were able to do the curbside, and then until recently, now we're doing the limited access to the library. So we're trying to get back into that same where we were at before, and I believe we'll have to ask her again if she's interested in becoming the manager.
Because, I mean, dealing with the different factions that we have using that thing is proven pretty tricky.
Yes.
I can tell you though that being the liaison on that board, she works really well with the board members and them working with her, and she's very open, and she listens. And so You know, I just think that she's done a nice job of stepping into a position like that, because that can be very stressful.
Well,
I mean, you're dealing with a lot of different people, not just your employees, but the people that walk into that library.
Agree. What type of timeframe are we looking at on an evaluation?
we could begin one immediately, Mayor and council, and get a recommendation.
Mayor, we can incorporate that into the final budget.
Yep.
Okay. As Judy presents it, we'll evaluate it according to the pay and grade steps that we have and make a proposal to Diane, and then we'll move forward and incorporate that into this budget.
Because you just said two things, she listens and she's flexible. And in the other experiences that we had, it was inflexibility and ideology and all these other things. And so I appreciate the way she's been able to handle it.
Yeah, and so do I, being the liaison.
And we're also, hopefully we'll be able to open at full operations again. So that's our goal, to hopefully move forward with that. So,
Mayor and council, and I'm not making any excuses, I apologize in advance if I sound like it, but, we too at the village have been kind of stutter stepping. We don't know whether
Oh,
to
yeah.
open or not open, or to, so it's kind of, some of this has been hit and miss with us too.
I like Farley's.
well, we've allowed to be open, and then we've had calls saying, why are you open? And we're trying to open, and why aren't you open? So it's been,
Or you're not opening for?
yes.
So how many employees is figured into this salary? 5?
She said.
Yes, now it'll be 5.
Okay.
And those are all full-time employees?
Yes, ma'am.
Part-time is how many people? 1, 2?
That has been done away with.
Mayor, here again, we had discussions during the strategic planning that, at times it becomes challenging to cover days off and cover, lunch breaks and things of that nature. But, as we've discussed before, there isn't any reason why, we can't share employees. And, if Diane runs into a situation and says, I need coverage for a couple of hours or a day or an afternoon, there's no reason why we can't send Halen over there to cover, or Courtney over there to cover. They've been trained and they've worked in those areas, so.
And so that's what the budget of 10,000 is for?
Well, there was a proposal for the part-time position,
Yep.
but that's one of the things that we talked, instead of hiring just another position, that we would share employees and make sure that we're accommodating those requests.
Okay.
So, yeah.
But then that money would,
That part-time.
that pay would come out of that part-time amount that she's got budgeted there, $10,820.
Yes.
Okay, I like it.
I do too.
So, I don't know, on capital equipment and stuff, I know most of us has mentioned about the, air conditioning system, the ticking time bomb by your office there, that's how I call it. Is that gonna be replaced?
Mayor Pro Tem, I think what we did, is we did do some repairs to it, but that is going to be a pretty large item to replace. So, now that we're going to be looking at the additional money that's coming in, we can make a recommendation in capital improvements to get that replaced.
And then since his office isn't gonna be right next to it anymore, he's not as really concerned about it.
There,
Yeah.
okay.
He's not concerned.
No,
We put a double insulation for the mayor.
So, but we do have heat in the winter for the building, and we have air conditioning if we need the air for the summer?
Yes, ma'am, we do. I also wanted to add that there is a bill that is in the Senate right now, Senate Bill 127, and it is for building America's libraries, and it's for facilities. If it gets passed, there'll be more money coming to New Mexico to help with facilities. That also includes HVAC systems.
great,
Nice.
That'd be great.
great.
Thanks, Diane.
So us holding out till the bitter end may work after all.
We'll put your window back, Mayor.
Yeah.
We cut out that window on that side of the building.
Hear that thing cranking on and off.
Mr. Mayor, Diane, is that on the governor's desk or as
State, federal, isn't it?
It's a federal bill.
federal, is it a grant or?
Back in 90, no, it's not a grant. What it is that it's actual monies that are being allocated for public libraries and tribal libraries throughout the United States.
Thank you.
Do you have to apply for it?
Yes, the money will go to the state and we'll have to apply to the
Okay.
state for it.
Okay.
So Ron, did you get a price on replacing that unit?
Mayor Crawford, Councilor Cornelius, we had just a third-party proposal on that, and I think one of them was like $65,000, but I'm not sure. It's been a few years back. Not even sure if it was the same size or, tonnage of unit that's required. I don't know. That thing is huge. It's more of an industrial one is what we were told, more used for like warehouse type, like Costco or Sam's or something like that, rather than a public facility like a library building.
Well, we might look at it, just if that money's coming down, having
Right.
the shovel-ready project.
Yeah. I think we did have one other one, and it was 100, and I can't remember the amount on it, over 100,000 for something that size. But we'll sure do that.
Mayor, Council, what I recall is it something like somebody gave us a price for like 170 or something like that.
Yes, that was I think we got one from, might have been White Sands on that. But a local HVAC person said he gave us a ballpark figure on the size of the building, just, it was like 68,000 or so, but I'm not sure if that was even, without really knowing.
I think we need to get a mechanical engineer to design it correctly.
Right.
Totally.
Exactly, because all the thermostats and all that, it's all was done, it had electronic type, and I don't think any of that's working, and, it's not efficient at all, so.
Is that something that we need to try to look for in the current year to get it engineered? So that if the funds do come available, it's ready to go as a project?
I think Councilor Cornelius was saying yes to that.
Okay,
I agree with it.
okay. Let me make a note.
Okay, that's a good idea.
And then I have another question. Diane, on the, we're getting new computers. Is that from a grant as well for the library?
Yes, ma'am, it's from the money from the state Go bonds.
Okay, yes, okay.
Got warm in here, didn't it?
No?
Really? Must be all that digestion setting in. Any other questions for Diane or Judy? Nada? Okay, Judy, we'll go to capital projects purchasing.
Thanks, Diane.
Yes, Mayor, this is it's for the capital projects additional person. And throughout the budget, you'll see that there's some increases for training and for computer setup for the new person. So this is the department that handles all the procurement. So the advertising is for all of our procurements in a year. And some dues and subscriptions are for the memberships to the purchasing organizations and some capital project organizations. There in the non-cap is the actual computer and some new monitor. And on the bulk inventory, we buy.
You're freezing.
Oh, am I? On the bulk given inventory, we use that to buy, like envelopes for the village-wide and some other, supplies that need our logo, and then once we issue them to the department, we charge it back to the department. So that's what that bulk inventory is. And there are some training for New Mexico Edge courses and a PMP certification for capital projects managing. And then, of course, in licenses and fees, there's some Office 365 licenses and some project licensing for the 4 computers. And we do have a vehicle in this department. So there's some vehicle maintenance and fuel for it. So, and I believe Karen's on the line too, if you have any specific questions about any line items.
On the salaries, Judy, on the salaries, so like Karen's salary, some of it would come out of the capital projects and then some would come out of finance?
Right now, she's only coming out of finance right now.
Oh, okay.
This position would be the new capital projects position, the purchasing agent, and then Courtney.
That was just an update that we're getting from Rodney that the Forest Service is going to be camping on the soccer field. They won't be interfering with the Little League. So.
Any questions?
We'll move on to Department 133, which is IT. This is where we took the one position that was currently paid out of the convention center, and we're gonna move it to IT to focus on IT issues and to work with Systems MD to get a little bit more knowledge on our network. So you'll see that in the past, there hasn't been any personnel, but now there'll be salary in connection with that. In this department, we pay for all the internet connections, and that's why you'll see that the utilities is so high. A lot of it is for Windstream and TDS as an internet backup. We also pay for our phone support, which is under contractual services, and for Systems MD, which is the managed system. And we also pay for a lot of our spam filtering and for Encode and some of the other licenses that we pay for. You'll see those coming through this department.
Is that all the software maintenance? It's 106,000. Is that all of them? Is that just does that include
So Tyler's about 67,000. Esri, which is part of the GIS, is 25,000. And then we usually pay for all the Office 365 licenses for the whole village, and that's about $10,000. And also we do pay some Adobe licensing and some domain renewals, like for our website name, the Ruidoso-NM comes out of IT.
Okay,
Mayor, if I may,
sure.
we didn't put any training and development in here. And I thought that's one of the things we had talked about, Judy, is doing an assessment and seeing how we can, increase the capacity in that IT.
Oh, I forgot about that. Okay,
How much?
let me make a note.
How much your jogging suits? Because, you need to get Jeffrey in one of those to run from department to department.
Get him some skates.
Skates.
Yeah, I think Jeff's not in here right now, but I think, somehow we need to do like an assessment
What's that?
and then figure out, what capacity that we need to build within him, and then get him to some specialized training and whatnot. So,
What is the $142,000 for utilities? We have people wanting to know.
That's for Windstream,
Oh, that's right.
for the internet. I believe we pay, it's about, let me get the Windstream amount. How much we pay on a monthly basis. Let me see, I'm not sure if Robin's on the line. She might know what we pay on a monthly basis to Windstream for internet. Hold on a second.
I think he's doing a great job for us, Jeff is, but I think we could probably get him some more training and help him out and help us out.
Eric, Council, Judy, that line item's paying for Windstream and TDS.
Can you see how much on a monthly basis we pay, the monthly bill?
Yes, for TDS, we're paying $84.75 a month and then for the internet, for Windstream, we pay $11,200.
And Judy, this is Robin. Windstream is also subject to change once we get the new fiber installed. So we'll have to look at that once we know our final pricing, when everything is turned on and once we're up and running.
Thank you.
Off the top of my head, I think that total is gonna move up to closer to 240 annually with a build-out, wasn't it?
Tim, I think you're correct.
So that's something we probably need to consider in the future.
So we're moving it up to 240? Is that what you're saying?
I don't think we're gonna have everything built out, this fiscal year. I think, probably halfway. So, I would recommend at least 200,000 by the time we go live with Village Hall and then the Horton Complex and move things. And I think the build-out's gonna take a while. I'd be comfortable recommending 200,000.
200,000?
I'll make that change.
Mayor Crawford,
Yes, sir.
Judy, the Esri contract is increasing this year from $25,000 to $27,500. I just got the contract last week.
Uh,
Good afternoon, Eric.
Hey, I've been here all morning, just kind of watching you guys.
Did you say 27.5?
Yep.
Okay.
Thank you, Mayor.
You bet, thank you. Y'all okay? In a few minutes, taking a break. President Aguilar is in the neighborhood and wanted to stop by he just left the fire briefing. So, time to come on by.
I actually thought Eric was standing up on the ridge like that, holding off the fire. Protecting our watershed, Eric. Eric, I don't know if you heard my comments this morning of Cody, but we're gonna make sure we got some representation.
Yes, Manager Dodge, and I've already been working with Cody, and we've gotten some maps and other details on our assets to the incident command. So thank you for helping with that.
Great. I think Eric ordered the precipitation.
Thanks, Eric.
Okay, so I took note of those 2 changes. Is there anything else? Or 3 changes? It looks like we'll move forward then.
Well, are we gonna take a break or
Oh, when he
Oh.
gets here.
when he gets
When he
here?
gets here in about 15, 20 minutes.
Okay.
So you'll just let me know?
Yeah, they'll come in. He said they'd be here in 15 to 30 minutes. I told them to come on by.
Okay, so the next department is the swimming pool, Department 150. And as you can see, we did include some personnel and some operational budget in case we do open. I did not book any revenue, but we can always add the revenue whenever we officially open. So,
So really, Judy, a lot of this would just carry over, right? I'm looking at chemicals, since we didn't spend anything this year, you're just gonna be carrying that over, correct?
yeah, we just include it as a regular department instead of trying to project what we're gonna end at. I just budgeted it new as a department. But you are correct, any funds that we don't use in 21 will actually just increase the cash ending balance at the end of the year.
Yeah, Mayor Pro Tem, Mayor, if you don't mind, Judy, just touch on that real quick, what you're seeing as far as how the cash balance is, even with some of the big capital purchases we made, you know, what your projections are on cash balance?
So as you know, when we started the pandemic, we had moved the revenue budgeted projections back dramatically because we didn't know what was going on. So when we did that, that caused our budget for expenditures to actually reduce. So the combination now that we're seeing is that our revenues are coming over our budgeted revenue estimates. So that's adding to our cash. And then we were already functioning at a lower expenditure level. And as the departments move through the fiscal year, we're still seeing that there's still some budget savings in some of the areas like personnel. We budgeted 100% vacancies, but a lot of those vacancies weren't filled until after mid-year. So the combination of those two have been in tandem, ending the budgeted ending cash balance in the general fund. And at the end of March, the ending cash balance in the general fund was like around 9 million. So as we go forward, I'm projecting that our possible ending cash balance in the general fund is going to be about 11 or 12 million by the time we get through everything. So our cash budget has been increasing each year as we go through. And we've been fiscally responsible. And then with the windfalls from not only the GRT payback, but also from the CARES monies, we have been building that cash balance. So I think we're going to end up just in the general fund alone about 11 or 12 million when it's all said and done in June.
That's wonderful.
Really?
And as you recall, a few years back when I first got here, it was about around 5 million or so.
Good job.
Good job to you all, you guys are the ones that
Yeah.
budget, you guys have done great.
So that's always good news when your cash balance is increasing each year. So going forward to the pool, again, we're projecting like we're going to operate it. Now, whether that comes true or not is another story. But at this point, at least we have the expenditure in there. And then, like I said, we can always add in any revenues that come off of it later on. It'll just help the budget overall.
But like everything has been said, the outdoor type activities like that, no matter what, we can operate it, right? Right?
That's my thought on it, that it'll be at 100% capacity.
That's what Rodney stated the last meeting,
Right.
the outdoor and swimming pool and Webbit.
Yeah.
That's what they're saying. I mean, they've already had Roswell, Rio Rancho, and all those mayors are talking about moving forward.
And one thing that they did state yesterday that they didn't ask us to keep under our lip is that they are thinking of moving to the 250 on the mass gatherings.
Yeah.
And then, they're saying, those big events like Bloom Festa and the things like that, plan on starting to move those things forward. But then that's when they brought up the 36.
Yeah, and then they were talking about, well, how you doing it? And then it was a Dr. Scrace that was talking about it. If for everybody, you want 36 square feet, so 6 by 6.
What?
Yeah, and
That'd be
that's,
interesting for the Balloon Fiesta.
yeah,
So could we have our Aspen Cave
yeah.
parade?
Yeah, just as long as you stay in the 36.
As long as they're 6 feet apart. Where?
Only go single aisle down the
We're
sidewalk.
gonna get a square hula hoop and put it around us.
I just want to know how you're going to handle the Shriners vehicles, that's all.
And you stay right there, over here, here we go.
Well, not only that, on a more serious note, if there is one with the government,
Balloon Fiesta, and he said they're moving ahead.
Yep.
that even if we were all infective in this room and we went outside, the infective rate is 10% or less. So I'm looking, the balloon fiestas, as I recall, it's quite cold in the morning.
It's always cold.
And so I don't think people, they may be huddled, but it's just to keep warm. But most of them are spread out anyway. And then you've got those blasts of propane. So I think overall, unless one of the balloon ignites, we're okay.
But I think this approach is conservative, and then any revenues that we bring into those will, help us moving forward, so.
Right. But I think it's really good that we've got our workforce started.
Yes.
Yeah. So they don't go elsewhere, trying to find jobs.
Department
Any questions on the
155.
poll? Oh, okay. Okay, so the next department would be 155, which is the Parks and Rec Department. This department has 17 FTEs. And this is the department where that additional person from the savings on RSVP is going to be housed. So that will be new this year. And going down their budget, let's see. I might need a little bit of help on what they have in their non-cap furniture and fixtures. I'm not exactly sure what that amount entails.
Judy, this is on the capital, this is where I had requested that we put in a bucket truck for them.
Oh, yeah, I forgot to put that in. I do have and I don't know if this is an exact cost, but I was doing some research just on the internet, and a bucket truck can be anywhere between 200 to 370,000.
But is there adding and replacing decorations and whatnot? I think that's important that we have a safe bucket truck for them to do, and then just a lot of the maintenance and whatnot.
And especially now with us going to the system, the
Speaker system.
Speaker
that's
system.
going out there. I feel safer with them being on the road, on the lift, than being on the ladder, on the sidewalk,
or climbing.
or yeah, what have you.
What are they using now, an old one?
Well, I think they borrow from the Downs, is what I think. And then they ran a scissor lift to decorate the trees in the park. And I see T-Bone driving that down the street once in a while, and like,
Those don't go very fast.
They don't. I mean, it take a half a day to take it down there, but I think we're getting to the point where, and not only for decorations, they could do it for tree maintenance and stuff, because I get
Yeah.
I get the calls there that, how come I have to prune my branches over my house, but City Hall has their branches touching their roof and stuff, and I'm like,
What's
I don't know.
the non-cap furniture and fixtures? What was that for?
I'm not exactly sure what that was for. I am looking to see if Rod's on the line right now.
Judy, were you wanting to speak with me?
It's like Beetlejuice or something. You just asked for him twice, 3 times. And
I was just wondering if you can expand on what makes up the non-capital outlay. I don't have it in front of me.
Gosh, I'm not sure that I had a line item in there, did I?
yeah, non-cap
Yes.
furniture, fixtures, and equipment, $71,417.
And that is in my operating budget?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Parks and Rec? Whoa, let me get the notes on that.
Okay.
Well, last year you budgeted 70 and used
You
nearly all
used
of it.
67,000 of it, yes. But I'm just wondering what it was. I'm sure it's something that.
And Mr. Mayor, if he would comment also on the jump in youth sports.
Yeah, I was just looking at that one, 46.9.
Yeah.
Isn't that because we're going to take it, are we taking that over?
I thought we were.
And they-
Taking over soccer, taking over Little League football. And that's all upfront money for insurance, while I get from soccer. And of course, we recoup that with registration fees and stuff. So that should be a wash, no matter what we look at. Ordering the trophies for all the kids and all that, so.
There's quite a jump in adult sports too. 13,000.
Mayor, with this department, a couple of things that I think we need to, put on the table at some point is replacing those lights in Midtown. Rodney did get a price estimate for that, but I didn't see that.
Talking about Christmas lights or what?
The street lights.
The light poles, I thought that was in Logistech. They didn't come up with something?
No, that's not funded in lodger's tax.
I thought RMA was looking at that too.
Geez, how would they pay for that?
They're looking at it, but if we pay for it.
Mayor and councilors, I have my budget book and the breakdown, so.
Okay, go ahead.
So, the reason there was an increase is in non-cap is, kind of relating to this past year. So we had an influx of $50,000, for the addition of Christmas decorations for Wingfield Park. And so, that increase was, to try to keep that going, to add additional decorations, because the price of those is really significant. And just for an example, that Christmas tree that we had added this year to Wingfield was $25,000.
Wow.
And then the large walk-through, what are they called? The archway, the
Oh, yeah.
Christmas decoration,
Yeah.
that was around like $7,000. And so again, the plan is just to expand that Wingfield Park and continue to improve that walk-through event that we had created in the park.
That was.
And then we
wonderful.
also, if you recall, in the year, we had spent $10,000 on the laser light show. And so those are the increases. What we had done in the previous years, and you all had kind of mentioned and alluded to this, because we didn't have adult or youth sports, we submitted budget chain requests to fund like the laser light show, a portion of the Halloween drive-through, and those type of events is how we amended our budget previously. But if this year, if the plan is to operate all of those youth and adult sports, we wouldn't have that opportunity to move those funds around again.
So that's why you went to 46.9 in the youth sports?
Well, so in the youth sports, so the majority of all that, and I believe it's all of that, is recouped through registration fees.
And
One of the
and the same with the
one of the-
adult, because it's gone up quite a bit too.
Yes, sir. So all of those programs are based on registration fees. And so we actually collect more registration fees than we spend out on operating expenses. But each one of those programs has a tied-in registration fee that covers, it doesn't cover the cost of personnel, but it does cover the cost of, like for youth, it covers the cost of uniforms, officials, awards, those type of things. The most significant increase is soccer, because due to the number of kids, typically they have over 100 in their spring and fall, and they have 2 seasons each. But again, all of those, both youth and adult sports, we do recapture that with registration revenue. Although
Hey,
we
Rodney?
didn't this past year.
If you can get me those figures, because I didn't have them at the time of this budget, so I don't have the registration fee revenue
Okay.
included in this budget. If you can just show me the totals, that'd be great.
Rodney, you think you have enough in there for litter control?
40 grand?
It's how much?
So on the litter control, Mayor, it is strictly, we're anticipating that that's where we're going to get from a grant. It is 100% grant funds on the litter control.
Oh, wow.
So Rodney, normally we don't, budget grant money unless we got the grant agreement.
Okay?
When will he get the notice?
T-Bone's not in the office, but I'm pretty
Oh,
sure
okay.
they typically submit that before the new fiscal year.
Okay.
He did, I know he submitted that already. We're just waiting on them to award for the next budget year.
Are you good with that, Judy, prior to the budget year?
Yeah, we can make a change. No worries.
Well, I mean, do you want it now or do you want it budget year?
I'll take it out, and then when I get the final amount, I'll put it back in.
Yeah, and Mayor and Council, normally that's something that DFA would question if we don't have a grant agreement in place. So that they'll go back.
So you need to take it out.
Yeah.
Okay. Do we have anything else in there like that, Rodney? That we're waiting on a grant agreement?
No, sir, that would be the only one.
Okay. And the special events, is that going to cover everything from Brudoso or whatever that, what does that entail? Fencing, extra trash pickup, what?
So it is just the operating expenses to host the individual events that we're putting on, like again, it's similar to the youth and adult sports. So we kind of base that off of registration fees from the event. Oh, and so just like for the Wingfield Market, we project how many vendors will have sign up, and then we use that to base our expenses for as far as if we need to buy tents or some sort of, or marketing, those type of things.
Okay.
But those are existing events. What's not covered is if we, we're working with, the community or other departments, and we come up with a new event through the year, of course, that is, we don't have those projections or kind of over budgeted numbers figured into there. We would have to come back and request for additional funds.
Mayor, can I have Rodney, is it all right if I ask Rodney to talk about the new events we're talking about?
Sure, absolutely.
Rodney, do you want to talk about the new tour events that
Yes,
we're
sir.
talking about?
And so, Mayor and councilors, this is an example of something that has been initiated since we prepared our budget. And so it is that this information is not included in this budget. But what we are working towards is providing a series of outdoor, what we're calling tours, that are related mainly around the outdoors, but we're trying to our goal is to set up like a motorcycle, a tour, an OHV tour, a Jeep tour, a biking tour. And what we would do is we would set up a series of weekends throughout the summer where we market people to come, and we have tours set up on the Ruidoso's visitor widget where, for instance, if people came on their Jeep, we have a tour set up where they register for that tour. They get access to the map, they get t-shirts, they get entry into a sweepstakes. And whenever they complete that tour, again, they have an option of several different weekends through the summer. It'll help qualify them towards a sweepstakes and a larger event weekend later in the year. And so that same type of tour, again, will be set up for like a mountain bike weekend, an ATV weekend, a Jeep weekend, a motorcycle weekend. And then we're planning a larger event at the end of the season where we will have a larger giveaway to people who have entered into those tours. There's also another feature where it's a no purchase necessary, where if you just wanted to sign up for the sweepstakes, you have that option as well. You just wouldn't get the perks of going on the tour, like the shirt, the perks from the individual businesses who are partnering with us. And so we're just trying to encourage those type of groups to visit Ruidoso and increase the visitors to Ruidoso.
I like it. I think it's a great idea.
We're kind of taking like the poker run concept that the motorcyclists use and applying it to all the tour type of opportunities that we have, and then just putting it into a big package with a big, grand prize sweepstake type of deal at the end. And, we've already been in touch with the gaming commission, and as long as we handle it as a sweepstakes, we don't have to have a charitable partner or a gaming license to handle it that way. So it's a creative way, and right now, the state has created that outdoor recreation group, and they're looking at starting to create this Atlas program where they're mapping all the outdoor recreations, but they're moving towards, big promotions of outdoor recreation and funding outdoor recreation. So this is a creative idea that we're working together to put together to really start creating another, element of letting people know what type of tours they can do here in the Lincoln County area.
Very good.
Those aren't that money's not figured into these operations. We're still developing the ideas.
I like that idea.
I like it too there. That sounds great. Foster outdoor activity.
I'll lend you my motorcycle if you want it.
Yeah, you could actually be one of the guides.
Who are you going to get to do that? I mean, like, just utilizing your, the people in the office?
Rodney, I'll take that if you don't mind. As we were talking earlier, we want to transition this, the FTE that we had planned in the convention center to start working on different events and things like that as well. So that would be one of the functions that this person would take on. And then in addition to that, Rodney does have Jasmine working in his department that was hired to help with special events.
Right.
So she would be working and helping with that as well.
Okay.
Then I'll volunteer.
You're gonna be on the motorcycle tour?
I think we got a couple of people want to volunteer for the Jeep and hiking.
Chief
So does that
Booker?
entail, like say envisioned, the participants bringing their own equipment? Like whether it be bikes, motorcycles, Jeeps and so on?
Yes. And then if, what we want to do is help promote some of the local businesses. So if some of the local businesses, like that gentleman next to Club Gas rents out bikes, if somebody comes and, rents out one of his bikes and goes on one of the tours, then, that's what we want to do, is help promote the local businesses that have that type of outfitting.
Yeah, because you definitely have to make sure they're safe, they're certified in some degree, and where it keeps the village from liability. There's that word again,
Precarious.
liability.
Well, at least you aren't riding any wild horses, so we're okay.
We might have to keep them off the soccer field tonight.
Well, good luck with that.
That's what we told the firemen, no feeding the animals.
Yeah, I almost hit a horse the other day. Ran right out in front of me in Alto.
Oh,
Right
man.
across the highway by the Mexican food restaurant.
But with that concept, we can apply it to anything, to hiking, to, if there's other, disc golf, whatever, we want to try to entice people to do, So I think it's just a real creative way of really trying to, market the various outdoor assets that we have.
I think it's imperative.
You like it?
I do.
Love it.
Yes.
Want some more of it. I think it's great.
Did you have any other questions on any of the other line items in the Parks and Rec?
No, I think that pretty much got it.
Mayor, I started to say earlier, with this department, I think we really need to consider, that improvement to the Center Street sidewalk, and then the lighting in that Midtown area as well. And, I don't know if Ron, I didn't see it, but I think we really need to invest in a sprayer for Josh's department. I didn't see that in that request, Judy.
No, the striping machine?
No, the sprayer for the streets department for striping, and is that what you said, stripe machine?
A striper has
Yeah.
sprayers with it.
And the sidewalk, you're talking about taking the right, as you're going up Center, taking the right hand and going all the way to Wingfield.
Yes, Rodney started working on some pricing for that, but,
On the YouTube?
Yes, ma'am.
Hey, the other morning, it was early too, and I was downtown. And on Center Street, you were with someone else, and it was on the left-hand side of Center going up towards Wingfield Park. And the gutters that are jutting out from that building on that left-hand side?
yes.
Yes, ma'am.
I got all excited. Are we talking about doing something
Yeah.
that helps so that somebody doesn't cut their head off?
Yes, ma'am. So we're looking at like a broader scale project that would address a lot of those issues on Center Street, because it has a lot of issues. Not only the gutters on the side of the building, but that building also has a non-functioning little storage building that takes up half the sidewalk.
Yeah.
We did visit with the property owner. He is interested in working the village to correct the not only the gutters, removing that part of the building, but also I visited with the contractor regarding like realignment of the street, correcting the sidewalks on both sides of Center Street because the west side of the street has multiple steps that have kind of been
Oh, yeah.
altered over the years. That's really unsafe. So we're looking at that in entirety. Again, with the gutters, the realignment of the road, adding sidewalks to both sides of the road, all the way up from Sutter up to Wingfield.
Thank you.
Rodney, did you look at that retaining wall in that parking lot as well?
Yes. And that's another item, Mayor and Councilor. The parking area that is to the rear of Timbers Mall, it's a little narrow to allow the 2 rows of parking that currently happen there. And so our property is actually almost up to the rear of those buildings. So we could look at adding a retaining wall in order to enlarge that parking area to provide safer, more available space for parking in that lot.
I can't tell you how excited that makes me.
Well, and Arnold Duke said he was willing to work with us and he'd foot some of the expense and.
Gosh, I've always been so worried and upset about those gutters with liability. So, thank you, all of you, very much.
Apple Tree condos. He's a gym and rock and mineral gym guy that travels all over the world doing big shows. He's from Las Cruces originally. Okay, what's a Portican's contract again?
That is the line item for pumping of all of our vaults and the placement of porta potties for events or maintenance issues.
Porticans.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I thought it was like a Puerto Rican name or Porticans or something. I'm hanging around Tim too long. He's got me trying to throw in all this influence into my language. Okay, I got you. Gotcha.
You'd have to say Porto.
Porto cans. Porto cans. Okay, next.
So if I can just get something straight, Tim, you want to add an amount to replace the light poles in Midtown?
And the sidewalk, we gotta get
And the
estimate.
sidewalks and a striper? Are those the 3 that you were talking about?
Yeah,
Is it Stropper?
we'll get those numbers to you,
Okay,
and that's something we can consider in the next year. Yeah, Josh is,
But Susan was asking if it was for a stripper, and I said, no, it's actually a striper. But I like the way she thinks.
Mayor, just, Ron brought it up, but, one of the things that we've been looking at, we have the hot mix plant, but when the guys mobilize and they're taking it out, oftentimes it cools off. They sell these hot mix boxes that they put hot mix in, 3-4 yards at a time. The highway department was using it out there when they were doing their crack fill before they do their project now. But it keeps the hot mix hot. When they get out there on there, they got the chute that brings it out and they shovel it into the potholes and it helps out quite a bit. So that's one of the things that Ron's looking at.
What they told me is, I think it's like an 8-yarder and it has a diesel engine, it keeps it warm and I think it's about $18,000-$19,000. I'm trying to get the information from.
Well, I think it'd pay for itself rather than putting that cold mix,
Right.
temporary stuff over and over.
Put the
And
Comex in it, and
Snows
you
in,
got
it
the
pops
Comex too, where it's gonna go in hot, so.
Do what?
I think that might be a good investment.
Yeah.
And that sidewalk will be expensive going up through there. And Rodney, are you gonna look at that property there that used to be the cleaners and then the one that's right across the street on Texas Street? Were you able to make contact with that owner?
I have not, Mayor, but it's on my list and I'm working on it.
Okay, and thank you for the other list that you sent me this morning. Okay, are you good, Judy?
yes, we can move on if you're ready.
We're ready.
Department 157 Horton Complex. This was just kind of same as this current year. So if we do somehow get the remodeling, we might need to revisit some of the utilities and some of the maintenance part. But as of right now, this budget is a status quo of how we're currently using Horton. So there will probably have to be made some changes if we move in during the fiscal year.
Mayor and council on the Horton complex, one of the things we were notified is that, they're having to consider a big electrical upgrade to that building, and they're saying that the current code's not supposed to allow two different services. So as they look at the transformer upgrades, it may cause a 2 to 3 week shutdown of all the operations in that building. So that was just disclosed to us yesterday, so we'll let you know.
About P&M and then our
P&M.
building department.
P&M and White Sands as they're moving forward with the design.
Oh, my goodness.
We just thought I'd bring that up. We're supposed to have numbers for the Horton complex by this week, but this issue's pushed it back.
So
So
what will that do to the Boys and Girls Club?
Yeah, my question.
that's the situation that we're in, is that if they do have to do that upgrade, it might cause a 2 to 3 week interruption of their business.
What about the administrative offices there for the school? Is that on
They're
different
they're on
service?
a different circuit, or different building and different meter.
Wow.
Is that on Eric's list of buildings to consider for solar?
Yes. He had like 13 listed and it was one of
One
them.
of them, okay, I couldn't remember if that, so we might need to talk about that with electrical.
Me and Ron just had a conversation. It seems like we keep getting pushed back on the plans and asking more information and requests. It's been a complicated process.
Well, it's the new FEMA sewer line for me with that. I mean, we're finally moving on that. Now Horton is like this big rope around my neck.
That's almost tiring.
I'm just sick of talking about it.
But I just thought I'd let you know that that's our latest deal that we're doing there. So
And excuse me, would it be possible to have a temporary service only for the Boys and Girls Club?
we'll throw that consideration out there when they're here I think they're coming over the weekend, right, Ron?
The mechanical engineer is going to be here on Saturday to go into the building, and we'll pose those questions to them.
And that's one of the things we're running into at Village Hall. We try to get a temporary CO for the south side, and
Nope.
they're saying no, that they want it tied in, and that
Yep.
way both systems are operational. So we approached that at Village Hall, and they kind of told us no, so.
Yeah, it seems like that's
State
apples and
inspectors.
oranges, though. You have an existing structure with multiple offices. Here we have only one book of business and another area that's just under new construction, period, without occupancy. So it seemed like an argument could be made.
We'll try it. We'll see.
Well, nothing ventured, nothing gained.
Yes, sir.
Tell them it'll beat having an Ingersoll Rand out there running day and night.
If we had Dave would say, yeah, go ahead. We're dealing with those state inspectors.
Did
Oh.
they retire or?
No.
No.
No?
Hey, the chief wants to give a quick update if y'all want to hear it.
It's hard to argue with P&M too.
No, since it's on our, Counselor Salas, since it's on our project, we can't inspect it ourselves.
Like running upstream.
Hey, chief, you want to go now?
Yeah, I've got you on Zoom if you want.
Oh, yeah, okay. I didn't know you were on Zoom. Okay, go. Zoom.
Okay, so real quick, they did an update on the Three Rivers Fire 2021 Facebook page about evacuations as of 1 o'clock. The following evacuations have been lifted: Ski Run Road up to Eagle Lakes Turn, Via Madonna, the Bonito Corridor below Bonito Lake Dam. Tanbark is remaining closed, that is below the dam. Nogal Canyon Road up to the Nogal Peak Trailhead is open. All inhabited areas west of Highway 37, Loma Grande, Cora Dutton, Ranchman's Camp, Magado, the Church Mountain area will also be open.
Oh, wow.
Be aware that while these areas are allowed to be repopulated after 1 o'clock today, this is subject to change due to fire activity levels and weather. Continue to be vigilant and prepared to evacuate again from these areas or additional areas if the fire increases in fire behavior. So they're going to start coordinating to get those folks back in as of right now.
That's saying something. That's great.
It is good.
So is the suppression look at the tankers or the seaplanes been active?
They have made some headway. They had a little slop over. I'm not sure where it is. They are working on it, but the temperature is 40 degrees on the mountain. They have some snow on our side and the top. The Three Rivers side, not so much. There's still some moderate fire activity, but they are feeling good about it. But we got a report about 15 minutes ago that the winds have picked up significantly this afternoon.
Okay.
And that's all I got.
Okay, buddy. Thank you for updating us. Appreciate you. That's good news.
Yes, it is.
Okay, were we still on Horton Complex? The black hole, the white elephant, the money pit. We still on that one?
Albatross.
Albatross.
Give it back to the school.
The next two departments, 180 and 181, are the two cemeteries. And their expenditures are comparable exactly to the prior year. So there was no change in those two departments. Moving forward, we're going to move to Department 391, which is the Convention Center. This department has 4 positions: the manager, the office manager, and then the 2 technicians. We did take that third one and transfer it to the IT, so it went from 5 positions down to 4.
And then we're talking about, since it's under Rodney's department,
Yes.
being able to offset the workload with some of the people. So when we have big events and they need to be cleaned up at night, we'll have someone, it's going to be a lot of scheduling. And then how much do we have built in there for, would you call that overtime? No. What would you call that? Additional pay to pay back that department?
12,000,
What do you see it at?
right under.
Blue line.
Well, that's in overtime. That's what I'm saying. That wouldn't be overtime, would it? If you bring somebody from Parks and Rec over to the convention center,
If we had to, both of them are general fund operations, so, we're not concerned with the intermingling of funds. This acts more as an enterprise, the convention center itself. So, we'd just be, we'd be utilizing some of these employees working with other facilities as well. So then if we needed special operations, we'd move them over. If they're in overtime position, then they'd be paid out of this overtime budget. And this manager position, Mayor, that's one that we talked about that would, take on some of the tourism events that we're talking about.
I think that's a good idea.
So the only really big change is in building and property maintenance. It looks like it's going from 13,000 to 32,000. So, Rodney, can you give a little explanation on that one?
I'm sorry, Judy, what was that one again?
Convention center building maintenance, it went from 13 to 32. I'm assuming you have a project in mind.
Yes, so, we have, the repainting of the rooms in 4, 5, and 6. So what we did this year, again, because we weren't in operation, we utilized the funds for maintenance to, repaint and repair the walls in the exhibit hall. And so the remaining would be again to paint the rooms in 4, 5, and 6.
Are you ready?
I don't have any questions.
Okay, are any other questions or any other items that you might want to see some more explanations on in the convention center?
Nope. Let's move on.
Okay. Okay, so then we're gonna close out the general fund department 791. This is just a catch-all department. We usually pay out the insurances in this department, and any residual funding that we have, any savings on utilities, we usually roll over in July, so that's why there's no amounts in those positions right now. The 809, that's currently in the special events line item, is the residual funds from the CARES Act. So at the end of the year, I'll be rolling over those two figures, whatever the balance is at the end of the year. But what's included in this department is some retirement pays and insurance and bonds. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 potential retirements next year. So we're trying to figure out what the potential payout could be. And it looks like based on the payouts, it would be around, let's see, 270,340, and then the remaining amount, oh no, I'm sorry, I got that wrong.
Yeah. Says,
No, go ahead.
it says 614, is that what you're looking at?
Yeah, because it's two amounts. And also, if we're gonna pay, if we do pay some kind of pay for performance, I had reserved another 340 for those increases, plus the retirement pay of almost 300,000.
Oh, so that's what makes up the 614?
Yeah, those two amounts.
Okay.
And then in the insurance and bonds, the general property, the property and general insurance, if the self-insured fund keeps it the same as current year, which I think he did say he was going to keep it at, I'm estimating at 200,000 for the general fund, and on workers' compensation, another 200,000. So that's where you get the 400,000 at.
Okay. On that, back on that retirement pay, are you going to break that out so we can differentiate it?
Yes, I will break it out.
Okay. All right. Anything else?
No, that's the only two figures in that
Did you
one.
include John Cornelius's retirement in there?
I have his nickel.
Vaya con Dios says. Okay.
And then the next department, which is 920, which is transfers out, are just the 500,000. Remember, is for the funds that we use to fund the SERF. At 500,000, we usually include that at the beginning of the budget, and then as we see more revenues come in, or if we use cash balance, we usually transfer it out. The subsidy to make streets whole is at 1.4 million. And then, of course, we do have some debt service to pay on some revenue bonds in the amount of 271,900. So those are what the transfers out of the general fund currently total.
Judy, what's CERF?
Capital Equipment Reserve Fund.
Thank you.
So each year we try to put at least $500,000, and that's where we buy capital equipment requests out of. That's where we were able to buy the streets, all their equipment last year. So that fund balance, a lot of times during the fiscal year, we don't use all that 500,000, so the funds just roll over. So you'll see that when we do come back in May, like the police car request won't be paid out of the general fund. We'll actually pay it out of the CERF, which is Fund 207.
Okay, thank you.
And that's the last part for the general fund, so. If you're ready to go on, the next fund would be the correction fees fund, and we talked a little bit about it this morning. It has the court automation fees and the education fees that are reimbursed back to the AOC, and of course, we do charge that correction fee. Right now, we have budgeted for our jail expense 15,000 and the reimbursement back to the office of the court. So that's kind of a wash fund. Are we gonna take a break now?
He's gonna bring in Gabe Aguilar.
Oh, okay. All right. I will go ahead and stop then.
Hey, guys.
Yeah, I will.
Judy, how are you faring?
I'm doing better, but when I get to talking, sometimes I get winded and
Can you
get
get
tired out a little bit.
Can you get some lemon drops? That'll help.
Yes. Yes, I will get some.
Have you lost your taste buds?
Actually, I haven't been experiencing too many symptoms. I did feel like I had a sinus infection, but I didn't lose my smell or taste. I didn't get any body aches or anything. I just felt like I was really stuffy and I had a wet cough.
Okay.
That's better than
Good news all around.
Right.
Cough drops work too.
Okay.
You get to pick the flavor you like.
That's funny, when my wife got COVID, she said, I lost my smell.
You lost your
Didn't
smell.
stink anymore. She'd be saying, did you take a bath?
I just kind of got that.
Just kidding.
Does anybody need water?
Thanks. I'm good. Thank you.
Thank you.
You will?
I'm good, thank you. I still have one.
So Eric's just watching us all day long. That just brought up the discussion of making Parks and Rec the enterprise fund, or possibly looking at that. Any discussion on that?
What's that?
About a year ago, maybe a little over a year, possibly looking at
Mine all the time.
enterprise fund. Have you all been discussing it anymore?
He's a trooper.
We haven't talked about breaking it out, but that's basically, where we're headed with this. When we look at that tour deal that we're setting up, we're looking at charging $30 for an entry fee. T-shirt and prizes would be, basically about $10. So each registration would be about a $20 profit. So, if we put, 10,000 registers towards that, that's what those bike runs were averaging at one time. And that's just on a bike run, stand to gain, you know, a couple $100,000 a year. So that's kind of the thought behind some of those.
Do we have a timeout?
Yep, we do.
Good.
Everybody know President Aguilar, Gabe?
How are you guys?
Joe Eby, Susan?
Good to see
And this is Danny Bruninger. Bruninger, he is the past president.
Good to see you guys.
Before Blaze.
What's going on, buddy? Doing good, This is where the magic happens, huh?
Yeah, we tried.
Susan
Susan.
Lawrence. Nice to meet
Ruffles,
you.
Thomas, and this is Danny. Nice to Tom Cornelius.
Good to see you.
This is Counselor.
Nice to
Jackson.
Nice to meet you.
And then this is our deputy.
All those discussions.
Ron, you met the manager? Yeah, you met the manager already. You know, everybody knows everybody, so. We're just working on budgets and whatnot. That's always fun. Yeah, that's our favorite.
I'm telling you, that's your wish list, so all the departments, it's kind of tough. You know. This fire caught us off guard a little bit. We just found out this morning, it's about 240 acres on the reservation, so. But it's on the side, Three Rivers side, going up Indian Creek a little bit, but, you know, we're gonna come here for the meeting, we're gonna talk about our priorities on, make sure, you know, the Forest Service has a lot of rules, retardant, what you can drop is a lake, so we're gonna say the same thing for the reservation, just to, what is it, fugitive retardant? Yeah. They're requesting that it's not as thick and it don't hurt the fish and the wildlife.
It's a little more environmentally friendly than the regular slurry mixture that
They dump.
we put down.
Right.
But the most thing is the safety and to stop it from coming up. It comes up through Indian Creek, it's gonna come through, Upper Canyon, through, Mescalero cabins. That's gonna be the dangerous part for us, so.
That's one of our big concerns. And of course, there's a whole big neighborhood in that forest in Upper Canyon. You all know that.
Sure. That's one of our biggest areas we're gonna talk about tonight is at all costs, we'll just, if we have to, we'll just let them drought the slurry and we'll stop the fire, you know, not safety first, you know, or not worried about the trees and stuff whenever houses are in the way and everything else. So.
Lives and property.
So President Aguilar on the reservation, I mean, so it's coming towards the Upper Canyon?
Right now, you know, where it's starting at Three Rivers, it's going on the mountain. So if there's a little spot on the res where it's starting to creek, so they're gonna put their focus on there to hit it, you know?
Okay.
And we met with, John Montoya, and we told him, let's be safe, you know, I mean, if we have to use the stuff that stops the fire, let's use it to protect the land and
Absolutely.
protect the people. You know, I don't wanna be picky and say just, because they were saying last night when they were dropping the buckets, the water was evaporating before it hit the ground, so the wind and everything going on, it's just, that's not what you want here, you know, and we can't dig line, you know, and then the Forest Service was saying that, there's places in there where you can't even use a chainsaw, you know, you can't really touch the land, so how do you fight fire? You can't scrape the land with dozers.
Right.
Well, it seems like, excuse me though, but, it seems like you could point back to the Little Bear Fire where they wouldn't allow chainsaws in and this and that, and, they let that thing escalate just sit for, or brew for about 3-4 days and then it took off. It's the same policies that I believe caused that to blow out of control.
What really scares me is it's gonna burn into the scar of the Little Bear Fire, and that's where the backside of Bonito. So after the fire's out, and when that ash, when the rain comes, we had it. I remember you guys seen the floods in Mescalero. We had that. So just kind of fire, that water was just gushing, and we couldn't stop it going over the highway. So
Yeah, we're not worried about our watershed.
that's exactly what I was thinking for you guys, you know, like Alamogordo, Reynoso, everybody depends on that water. Maybe, we put some dams up, but those dams are tricky. They fill up real quick, but they bust. That's when you get the, but to kind of get some, you know, they need to do like a bear project, recovery project to get the water to kind of not run as fast where it goes. But that's a lot of work too, you know, so that's, we were trying to do it, but the rain hit us like 2 weeks after the fire. So, I mean, we didn't even have a chance when we had the Soldier Canyon fire.
they took off on us and big boulders would just boom, boom. You can hear them tear up those cars if they hit the cars, you know? So, I mean, it's something, this fire gets you all kinds of ways, so. But
Well, we're here ready and waiting. I know, did y'all go out to Copper Ridge? The county's got an operation set up, it's real nice, and then we've got one set up at our main fire station. And then these guys are gonna be set up here later today, so.
okay. Which one? Oh, Ira. I haven't met Ira.
You still haven't met Ira?
No, I haven't.
Is he coming in here at 6?
I believe he is gonna be here at 6.
Okay, we'll make sure I get an introduction with him.
Okay. And I gave the number to Lieutenant Governor.
I talked to Lieutenant Governor last night, Howie, was really super nice, and then Senator, I have to say his whole name, Ben Ray Lujan, called earlier, and then Renee, which we know Renee pretty well. He's
Mayor, we just got a text that we're hot.
So we're still hot. We have our finance director and whatnot.
Can you add Jeff?
Turn those off. Those 2 rooms down there are just next door, there's nobody in them. So we have our finance director and
Turn off your light, John.
yeah, we're